hire somebody if they were really good today, if they find those people. So the jobs are there.
It's hard to find really good, solid, strategic thinkers, strong writers, really good communicators with good experience. It's really hard to find them. It's amazing. Because the ones that are there, they land somewhere like, no, you've been there 8 years. They just don't move. They get somewhere and they find a good place, and it's hard to find. So you want to be in that tier. Let's talk, so we don't monopolize the time on too much. Let's talk a little bit about when to hire an agency and what things to think about in hiring an agency, more from the corporate side. And this will be applicable for some of the professionals, but many of you here will be in this position before you know it student-wise, where you're all of a sudden working for an organization and, gosh, do we hire an agency? We need to go to the next level. How do we do that?
You know, it's interesting from a government perspective, because we were once told by, I was telling somebody this out before, the Speaker of the House told my boss, this is a couple years ago, that it's easier for him to get us $100 million than it is to get one full-time employee. So in that environment, we know that consulting is where we do our business. Now, not every government agency is like that. You know, a lot of them rely on federal funding, different things. But for us, we know to do our work. I've got to hire people like Kristen to really do it for me. So what I start dealing with, though, is trying to match different projects, different scenarios, different issues with the right PR firm. A lot of times we do an open RFP process and we see who can come up with the best ideas and we hire them that way. But a lot of times it's more where I'm just trying to match people's talents to the right places. The Intrepid group brings a really high level of strategy. So I've actually tried to get them involved even with other PR firms on major projects to kind of provide that level of strategy. They also do great media training, so we'll involve them there. But really for UTAH, we consult out. You'd be surprised at how much work is consulted out and how little. UTAH is really, and our boss has this philosophy, we're the decision makers and the managers. We keep hiring consultants to do all the actual work, whether it's paving the roads, maintaining the roads, or handling the PR with road construction. It's consultants. So that money, the legislature loves it because we're helping private industry. So the money, we're almost just a pass-through. You'll hear we get $2 billion in 1 year. It's really coming straight from us, straight down into groups like this and big engineering firms to help build roads. So it goes a lot. We have a big project. To give you an example, the I-15 core project. It's reconstructing Utah County. It'll be the largest highway project in the history of this state, largest design-build highway project in the history of the country. About $1.7 billion project. That was one that so much was politically riding on that I did not open it up to just see what the great ideas were. I went and picked two firms actually, PPBH and Intrepid Group, and said, you guys work together, you're the best, I need the best, handle this project. And then basically I tried to step out of it and let them go.
And I think too, looking at it less from a government standpoint, not only, what's great about working with UTAH is having the budget to really do things, to do research. I can't tell you how valuable it is. You learn that in school, and then so often, from an agency perspective, your clients, their whole budget will be sucked up in some cases trying to do research. And so then you're doing formal research. And so then you're looking to go and you're looking at some other options to try to get to that same meetings. But having the ability to be really strategic and really think through and do things right and test the message. And it's critical because a false move can really have some tough effects, some tough things to work through. From a corporate perspective, we work with a lot of companies that, I wouldn't say small companies, but medium-sized companies that are at a place where they haven't worked with an agency before, but they're looking to maximize, trying to ask the question, how do we bring an agency in? Who do we bring in? And again, talking about networking, word of mouth is really the only way that agencies promote themselves. Taking out advertisements, I just don't know. I've had so little success outside of networking and website. Sometimes an out-of-state organization will come in and look at websites. Sometimes comparatively, by reputation, people will look at websites. But word of mouth is everything as working with smaller clients, wanting to take that step. Do we bring in an agency? One of the big mistakes, some of the mistakes I see, we've been a part of the pitch process where people have come in and have decided after all is said and done, after they interviewed 2 or 3 agencies, to hire a person or 2 internally. And sometimes that works, but usually it's a mixed bag. Typically what happens, they find some students, they find somebody else. When you're hiring an agency, and if you're in that position where you're hiring an agency, you're hiring a group that has a lot of bandwidth, a lot of experience from a lot of different areas. And you want to look at it as an investment rather than an expenditure. And that investment is something just like a stock portfolio that needs to be managed. You need somebody in your organization like Nile Easton that's managing that. It's not something that's outsourced. It's not something that, well, this entry-level person can manage that. You need somebody that's on that level that can actually watch that, work through that process, and also a strategic agency. There should be some measurable aspect to what they're doing. What are we getting? What are we trying to accomplish? I see this time and time again with smaller companies that hire their first agency. We don't need a plan. We just want you to go out and get press for us. What's wrong with that? Seems easy. I got an email just recently. A good friend of mine, very entrepreneurial guy, said, "I got this great angle. I want you to pitch Brian Williams for me." I see that as the route to get my company from point A to point B. What's wrong with that? Any ideas, students? Yes.